Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Sorry that I could not continue my tutorials on YouTube due to some busy schedule. Now, 2 weeks back only I started working on the project again, which I left around 6 months back. So, I prepared 3 videos earlier, and this is the fourth one in continuation of the third one. So, what I told in the end of the third video was to refactor the complete Python project using object-oriented principles to write a better code in terms of maintainability and reusing. Okay, let's jump into the topic. So these are the previous videos. If you're watching this video or my channel for the first time, so you may not understand what I'm going to tell here. So please cover the previous videos 1, 2, 3, and then only start watching this video. Okay, so what is the content in this? There's no new functionality I'm adding here, but what is the code written earlier in few modules or files, I'm refactoring completely into different packages, modules, and mainly using object-oriented programming concepts. Okay, then so at during a couple of places I used inheritance like broker login, order management, and ticker services, because these things can be separate for each broker, right? Currently I'm implemented the code only for Zerodha broker, but the similar functionality or code can be added in order to work with other brokers. So what I'm doing here, each broker has their own login, order management, ticker services, but there are some common functionalities among all these components. So what I wrote is there is some base component where the features are common across different brokers, and there are some things different while implementing each function. So only those features need to be derived in broker specific classes. Okay, let's get into the project, how organized, and I'll explain one by one. Okay, this is the project. The first point here is the main.py. This is the starting point of the program. When you start your program, Python space main.py on command line. Okay. So before jumping into what I have done here, I have created multiple folders here. One is config. Let's see what config means. So this config will give you, I provided here three functions, where that is get server config, get system config, and get broker app config. So this is nothing but I'm reading three different JSON files and returning the data from this function. So what are those three different JSON files? If you see this /config, so these are the files configurable which are outside of the source code, directory, which is config here. So what is server config? Server.json is nothing but, so we are running this Python on some port, right? So what is the port to run? 8080 with an SSL port and enable SSL on it. Currently we are not enabling SSL, we are just running on 8080 port. Okay, and other file system.json, we are just mentioning what is the home URL. Currently, since we are running it on localhost, so this is the home page URL of our app, right? So this you can directly launch in the browser. Okay, and earlier I used user.json instead of broker app.json. Here I change the file name here, broker app.json. Okay, here what you do, you just configure what is the broker. Currently it's only Zerodha is supported. If you want to implement it for other brokers, you can do on your own, or going forward in future I may implement other brokers like Fires. Okay, client ID, and you have some app key, app secret, right, which you created in your broker terminal. You just need to provide those, and the redirect URL anyhow. We're not using this in the application anywhere, but just for information purpose I put it here. Okay, this is the config, and if you come to config.py, so these are the three files we are reading from outside of the source code, and they are being used across the application wherever it required. Okay, and if you come to the next folder, like, or I can say package or module, whatever, there's a core folder I created. In this folder, I created three files: algo.py, controller, and some codes, which is a utility. But the main thing is like here algo and controller. I'll come to that next. Then there is an instruments folder. So inside instruments, I have a class instruments. Using this, after you log into your broker with the API key app secret provided, so you need to fetch the instruments. Let's say in equity you have, if you want to, in NSE you have some 3000 odd symbols plus futures, option symbols, etc. And what is the token for each symbol. So that kind of information we fetch, right? And if you go to login management, so these are the things when you launch your app, when you run your app, right? First you need to log into broker, right? So then you will get access token. After that only you can fetch instruments, or you can place orders, or even you can start ticker services. Okay. Here I segregate the code into different classes. This is the inheritance, where I call the base class as a base login.py. It's like base broker. So what are the common functionalities in a base login? So what do you do generally? So you need some access token, right? First you log in. So the login mechanism for different brokers is different. So after successful login, right? So what do? You set the access token once you get it, and that access token can be used across the program wherever you need, like for placing orders or starting ticker services, etc., or getting your positions or holdings. Here what I am doing is, this is the constructor of this base login. So the constructor takes broker app details. This broker app details is nothing but this broker app.json file, right? We have client ID, app key secret, right? So these are the parameters we'll fetch from there, and we'll somehow pass it to the base login. So this is the model basically. So the details I'm setting here, right? So there is a common functionality across all broker logins, that is login, right? So in case of Zerodha, you have some different mechanisms. In case of Fires, you have some different mechanisms, right? So these are the common methods you need to use in your derived class. In this case, I have implemented only Zerodha login for now. So what we do? So instead of writing all this code inside Zerodha login, we just focus only on this login functionality, right? In future, if I add, let's say, Fires login, right? Even in that file, I don't need to concentrate the remaining part of the code. I just need to write the actual code only for this login part. Let's go into Zerodha login. Okay. So here Zerodha login, and in bracket what I did, base login. So here actually what does it mean? This Zerodha login is derived from base login. That means it will use all the properties and behaviors of base class. So what are the properties here? In this case, broker app details and some broker. So these are the properties, and the behaviors is nothing but these are the functions, right? These can be used inside Zerodha login, since it is derived from the superclass base login. Here I am just initializing the constructor. So what generally we do? So the Zerodha login is called from outside, passing broker app details. I'm just passing these broker app details to the superclass, right? That's it. So whatever it just sets in superclass base login.py, it just sets those two instance variable or properties. Next, so I told you, right, that the login functionality is different for each broker. The rest of the things are same, right? I am not going to implement other functions here. Right? So I just need to write only the login functionality, right? So what I wrote here. So in case of Zerodha, we are using Kite Connect library here, which I explained in the I think second video, how to download Kite Connect Python and use it here. Okay. So assuming that you already covered that part, Kite Connect. First, we are getting the system config. What is system config here? System config is nothing but just home URL. This actually we need after successful login. You need to redirect the user to some URL, right? So that is nothing but this home URL. So when you call the login, so what we are exactly doing here, we are calling Kite Connect. We are passing API key. So this API key is read from this file, okay, and app key. So they are just assigning this app key to app key and calling this Kite Connect. So this Kite Connect will return some object, right? I call it as a broker handle object, okay. And then so this I already explained. You can go through my previous videos. If there is a request token present, so we'll go through this mechanism. Okay. So this will be there will be a redirect URL called from the broker, right? So once we get this, we'll get the request token from the broker in case of Zerodha. And using this broker handle, using request token, we generate the session here, and in turn we'll get some session object. From there we'll read access token, okay, and then we'll just assign that access token to broker handle here, set access token. And then what we do here, so this itself is nothing but this object, right, with Zerodha login. So these methods are implemented in the base class, right? Set broker handle, set access token. So even if you implement other broker in future for years, right? So after the login process complete and when you get access token, you need to call these superclass or base class methods to set the broker handle and access token. So this way, this logic is separated, and after this login is completed, you are setting the base class properties. So once the login is successful in this case, so what you need to do here, we need to redirect the user to our application, right? That is nothing but our Python web application. In this case, we are running in local and we are getting the system config home URL. Home URL is nothing but from this system.json file, that is localhost 8080. And here I am passing question mark. Since our login is successful, I am just passing one flag logged in true. So I'll tell you how this is being used. And then you just assign the redirect URL, okay, after successful login. Or else, if the first time it is being called, right, when this function is login called, when you click login button on your app, first we don't get into this loop. First we get into this other loop. Else we don't have request token there, because here we just get the login URL from the broker SDK, and we first redirect the user to broker login page. Here we given the login URL. From there, broker login page will be launched. Once you enter your credentials and the login is successful, the broker will redirect onto our URL, right? So in that case, when the broker redirects onto our application URL, the broker passes request token. So this flow come into picture there. So using the request token and the Kite Connect SDK by passing API key, we generate the session and we'll get the access token. This is how it's done. Okay. So the similar logic to be implemented for other brokers. For now, let's concentrate only on Zerodha. And another folder here created as a models. Models is nothing but is a group of objects. So let's say you all want to create some classes. Let's say tick data. So what a tick data contains, right? So when I say tick data, trading symbol, last traded price, what is the last traded quantity, average price, volume of the day, opens, high, low, previous day close, and what is the change from the previous day, etc. These are the properties each tick data contain. Correct? So similarly, so whatever models you are going to use across the project, we'll keep adding here. For now, I just created tick data, which we'll be using here. And broker app details. I told you, right? I have been using this broker app details in Zerodha login and base login page. So what are the broker app details? It's nothing actually. So broker app details is nothing but we're just setting the broker, right? So which broker it is, this broker name, whether it's Zerodha or Fires, and then so what else we need? Set client ID and app key, app secret. So these are the properties we'll get from the broker app.json. So where exactly these are being set, I'll explain the complete flow once I cover these modules into one by one. So then comes to order management. So again, in order management also, the mechanism for handling orders for each broker is different, but there are some common functionalities like base order manager I created. So what are those? What do you generally have, right? If you're dealing with any broker, so you just need the broker controller after you log in, right? So after login, you need to have the session of the broker, right? So the broker session basically here, and from this get broker handle. In this case, the Kite SDK returns some handle, right? So in Zerodha, it is in Fire's case may be different, okay? Or you can just treat it as a you need some broker session after successful login. So to place an order or modify order, whatever you want to do, you need to have the broker login session, correct? So we just when you create this base order manager or any instance of this base order manager, so you need to pass the broker. You don't need to pass actually. So here in this case, I'm just getting from the controller. So I'll tell you how we get the from controller. Here just call controller get broker login and get broker handle. So once these handles are set, so what are the common functionalities? Place order, modify order, place sell order, or cancel order. So these are the common things, right? You deal or get list of orders. We'll implement that later. For now, you can just check. So these are the common functionalities. So what are the functionalities are common? I'm just declaring here. I'm not implementing them here because the implementation is different for each broker. Those implementation has to be done in each individual classes of that particular broker. Here if you say Zerodha order manager, right, in this case, you can have Fires order manager in future. So what does this Zerodha order manager have? So this here what I'm doing is I'm just deriving it from base order manager, right? So what are the things I defined declared here? Okay, these are the common functions. So the implementation goes broker specific, correct? I just imported this base order manager and creating this Zerodha order manager class, derived class from the super class base order manager. So what is the constructor? I'm just passing some Zerodha, the broker name here, nothing else. That may be used later, when you get some object to read what broker it is. So when you have multiple brokers, when order manager, right? So you don't know which order manager it belongs to, correct? Whether to Zerodha or Fires. So by reading this property from the this order manager class, you can identify which broker it is. So in this case, these are the logic to place order, modify order. This I explained in the previous videos. The logic is same here. What we are doing here, the broker handle. So we are just using the broker handle and using the broker handle kite place order. So we are doing all the functionalities here. So how do you get this self.broker handle? When you call this base order manager, these are being set in broker order manager itself. So how I'm setting this broker handle? So you don't need to call every time in the broker rates unless you want to parallelly run multiple brokers. Okay, current. Let me clear one point. Currently this project is intended to use only one broker at a time, okay, not more than one brokers and one user at a time, that's it. So here the controller, once after successful login, I am setting the broker handles into the controller, and wherever in the app you require the broker login session or broker handle, so you can import from the controller and use like this, get broker login, get. So in this case, base order manager only I am setting the handles, and when you go to Zerodha order manager, the broker specific order manager, so this is by default ready, right? Because it's already set in the parent class, right? You can just use and do whatever the functionality you want, right? So cancel order, place SL order, that's it. And next come to REST API. So let me explain what is this. The templates. So these are the, again, templates are different. I'll explain what are those. So and coming to the ticker. So ticker is also similar to this order manager or login session. It's different for each broker. Some brokers may provide or may not provide ticker based ticker. When I say WebSocket based implementation, but even though some brokers do not provide WebSocket based ticks, you can mimic the REST API call here and convert it to ticker, so that that can be used across the application. So what are the functionalities of base ticker? So generally we need to declare, right, what any ticker has the common functionalities, right? So the common functionalities like you need the broker login, I mean the session here. In only when you get the broker login session, you can do other operations, right? Start ticker, stop ticker, whatever. So what are the main things like start ticker? Here I am just writing pause. So the actual implementation is specific to individual broker. So since it's a base class, I am not implementing, I am just declaring it. Stop ticker and register listener. So what is this register listener? So from outside of this ticker, so when you start the ticker, right? So other components want to get the ticks. How do they get? How do other components get ticks? It's a callback mechanism, right? When you start ticker, you will keep getting ticks from broker, and say this is on new ticks function is called here. So when I get on new ticks, right, I'll get multiple ticks each time from the broker. When I get ticks, so I need to serve each listener, right? So go loop through the ticks and loop through the listeners, pass each tick to each listener, whoever registered here. So those are called tick listeners, okay? And this is these are the common function. Like what will happen? We're just printing a message on connect. So what should done on disconnect, and what if ticker gives some error? On error will be called. What if ticker is trying to reconnect? So this will be called. And what if maximum reconnect attempts done? So ticker retried so many times and it gave up, right? And then on order update. In case of Zerodha, not only ticks, but through this WebSocket, you can get the order updates as well. When order open state, complete, cancel, or rejected. Those kind of states also you can get through WebSocket, or you can separately call REST APIs, whichever is fine. So these are the common functionalities across all tickers, right? Across different brokers. So let's go to Zerodha ticker, how I implemented here. So here again, this is a base ticker. I am deriving Zerodha ticker from the base ticker and just passing, calling the superclass constructor here. Doing nothing, I'm just passing some self variable, which is nothing in this instance. Then this is start ticker. So what is the functionality of the Zerodha start ticker, right? You need the broker app details here, so that you can get broker login session, right? So how this broker login session came into picture, where it is being set? It is automatically set in base ticker here. So I'm getting from the controller, I'm setting to self.broker login. So since Zerodha ticker is derived from base ticker, so these are all instance variable available to the derived class. So this variable is available here. From that I am getting the group get broker app detail, then getting access token. Here we need these two parameters. One is a app key and access token. So once I get the broker app details, I am getting app key from there and access token from here, and calling the Zerodha Python library here, kite ticker. I am assigning the callback function. These are the callback functions the Zerodha accepts. So these are I wrote here itself on underscore connect underscore close. So what will happen when ticker is connected or closed, error, etc. Right? So what I'm doing is, so these functions generally different for each broker, correct? So here that's why I written different functions for this on connect and so what I'm doing here, I'm just whenever this called, I'm calling the common function of the superclass, right? So whatever common functionality goes, you don't need to write in each derived classes. That's why I define these methods as common base. I'm just calling all of them. That's it. On connect, on close, on disconnect, on connect, superclass on error, on reconnect, superclass on reconnect. These are, so the functionalities is common, right? You want to do take some action. Let's say if ticker got some, you got some error and ticker connection closed. You want to restart it and you want to take some shut down your algo or whatever reason. So those kind of common functionality can be implemented here inside the base ticker, right? So that you can just reuse the code and you don't need to maintain duplicate copies of same code. And here when I start the ticker, right, on connect, what will happen on connect? So on connect in once it is connected, I'm passing to the superclass. There I'm just printing. I'm not doing anything here. So what are the things? One sticker here actually. I already explained this. Since this ticker has to run in a separate thread, that's why we pass threaded true, right? So there is a main application running, and whenever this start ticker call from the application, we are running the ticker in a separate thread. Okay. So once the ticker is connected successfully, the on connect callback will be called, right? Stop ticker, when you call from explicitly from the object, is just stopping. That's self-ticker. So this ticker is being assigned here. Okay, once we are done with the connection, right, ticker connection, you just assign this self-ticker here. So that will be a ticker will be available across all the other functions. These are the instance variable. Okay. And what are the functions? Like register symbols. So in base class, what I did nothing, right? Because it's broker specifics, right? So this is the implementation of register symbol. So in case of Zerodha, when you pass the symbols for each symbol, you need to get some instrument token, correct? So from instruments details, we already maintaining in this class instruments. So get instrument data by symbol. You pass the symbol and you will get the token from there. Instrument data will get. From that instrument data, you can get the instrument token. And take this token and I'm creating an array of tokens here. So for all the symbols, I'm getting instrument tokens and creating another array of instrument tokens. Then I am calling the ticker subscribe to by passing the tokens. So once you subscribe to these tokens, you will start receiving the ticks, and on ticks callback method will be called. So this will be called. Here let me tell you, the tick data can be different for each broker, right? So if you are having different brokers and if you are using this tick data across your application, so everywhere you need to check, right? Okay, if this broker is X, do something like this. If the broker is Y, do something like that. So and you need to maintain multiple and duplicate copies, and the code will be cumbersome, and if you want to fix something, and it will be very different, and that's not a proper code. So what I did here, I'm creating a common model. So here I call it tick data. So across our application, whichever broker doesn't matter, whatever the function doesn't matter. So I created this tick data. So these are the object we are going to use across our application. So from Zerodha ticker, so the data will get from broker. This is the broker ticks will get. So this data is different in different format. So what I'm doing here, for each broker tick, okay, I'm converting into our system tick data. So this tick is nothing but our system tick data. Okay, this is the model here. Okay, tick data.py. So I'm creating a new object here by passing trading symbol, and from broker tick you read all the properties like loss price, quantity, volume, etc., etc., and assign to your system specific tick data. That is nothing but our tick. If you are implementing some other broker, let's say, so all these properties may be different, right, on the right side. So in 5 years, let's say you are implementing something, and instead of last underscore price, they might have some last traded price, okay, last traded quantity, something like that, whatever. So what we are doing, we are having different brokers data into a common data, and this common data will be used across our application. So whether it is used hundreds of places, you don't need to change anywhere, right? Because all the data is what do you say, the normalized or whatever, I don't know what is the correct word to use. So we have to use this way, correct? It's a proper implementation. And what does done? So after we convert the broker ticks into our system specific ticks, we call superclass on new ticks method. So as I explained, when this on new ticks method is called, so what we are exactly doing, whoever the listeners registered for this to receive the ticks, we are just calling each listener with the tick, so that the listener do whatever the job they want to do, okay, with the tick. So that's how it is. And then utilities, here these utilities, okay, here also I converted these utilities into a class, and inside this class generally we don't need to create an instance of this utils, right? So that's why I'm just writing a static method. What is a static method? So the static method is nothing but you don't need to create an instance of a class, or you don't need an object. You can just call the functions of the class directly, like utils dot init logging config or utils dot round to NSE price. That's it. You don't need to create the instance of utils method, because we don't need here, right? So because utils doesn't have any properties, right? Then you don't need it. Has only the behaviors. Behaviors, I mean to say functions. So you don't need instance method. Static methods are fine. So if you don't understand what is static, go to Python tutorials and type what are the static methods, and you'll understand. Okay. So this is how organized into multiple modules and multiple classes, and wherever it is required, inheritance are used, and deriving the broker specific functionality, being it login or order management or ticker. So writing into separate logic. This is how the complete project is structured into multiple. And the main point starts here main.py. Let's come to this. Okay. So in main py, what I'm doing, I'm getting broker app config, get server config, get system config. From this config, I'm just printing here. So in the bottom, I'm just printing all of them. Okay. And we need the port here, because we need to start our server, Python web server, and run on localhost with this port number. That is nothing but 8080. I given config files, right? And some common function initializing, logging, and and here I implemented the REST APIs in this way. So adding a different rules here. So whenever from browser, if you are just opening localhost 8080, so this will be called this root. So this root of application, whenever it's called, this home API, REST API is called. These are the REST API of this application, not REST APIs of any broker. We are providing REST APIs of this Python application, okay, so that they can be used from the client JavaScript code, okay, or HTML. So these are the REST APIs. One is home API. What is home API? So whenever the home API is launched, okay, here are multiple things. If it is logged in, okay, if login is true, I am rendering index this HTML page, and if it is algo started, then I am rendering a different page. If nothing is there, I am just rendering the basic index.html. So where are these files decided? Right? So these files are actually in templates. So this is how index.html looks like. These are the HTML file, right? So where you will see the login to broker button, right? When you click on login to broker, so it will take you to the broker login page. From there, when you sign into your broker, redirect back to this Python application. After login is successful, the next time what will happen when you launch an home API, so there you will see login true. So when login true, so we are going to render this logged in HTML. So that is nothing but this one. So here I am just displaying some start algo button, providing start algo. When user clicks on start algo button, we are calling the start algo and this API. This is the API you are calling, API's algo start, correct? So what will happen API's algo start when this is called? If you go to main, okay, so API's broker login 0, this is the redirect URL from the broker. When you call the API algo start, we are actually start algo API, okay. So before that broker login API. So when you click on login to broker, so for this URL we assign broker login API, right? So this is coming from REST API's broker login API. So what we are exactly doing here? So we are importing the controller here, right? And through the controller we are handling this broker login. The broker login can be different from different brokers, correct? So here I am using some controller mechanism. So whatever the broker specific login, let it be taken inside the controller, okay? Here I am just taking the controller reference and calling the handle broker login by passing the arguments I received from the API. So once you call this controller handle broker login, after successful login, it will give you the redirect URL. That is nothing but our own Python app homepage in this case with access token. So once login is successful, we'll get the redirect URL. We just redirect the user to our app homepage. Correct? Let's see what is a controller here, how it looks like. I have not explained earlier. Let's go to the controller. So control again is a class implemented. We don't need to instantiate this control because there is only one controller. So we can use a static method. So we don't need instance specific variables, right? So here this is static variable. This is a broker control. I told you, right? This application is for single broker or single user at any instance of time. Of course, the code can be, you can write multiple brokers, but if you want to launch app, so only one broker or one user is related, correct? So this is a function we call from the broker login API, right? Controller and handle broker login. So when this handle broker login is called with the arguments, what we do is just getting the broker, which is the broker configured. Get broker app config, correct? So that will get you from this file broker app.json. So we'll read which broker it is and what is the client ID, app key, app secret, etc. details. And if the broker is Zerodha, okay, you instantiate, you create an instance of Zerodha login, right? Other brokers not implemented. If it is, let's say 5 years login. This 5 years login, you need to write one more class and write 5 years broker specific login mechanism. Or in case you want to add another broker alias blue. So similar to that, correct? In this case, let's say Zerodha, broker is Zerodha. I am calling the Zerodha login. This Zerodha login, I am creating an instance of. So what you will get? Basically, you will get some base login, right? So the instance is base login, whether it's a Zerodha login or 5 years login, doesn't matter. Ultimately, you will have the base login reference where all are applicable, correct? And I'm assigning this controller broker login. This is the static variable here. So I'm just assigning here so that it can be used afterwards. And after login is, here I'm just creating the instance of Zerodha login. Once you get the instance of Zerodha login, what you need to do? You just call the login method. So what is this login method? If you go to the base login, right? So this is a login. In base login, there is no implementation, but this is called. So when this is called, so what are the underlying object is being used? So in our case, currently is a Zerodha login. So this method will be called, correct? So whatever the code goes here, getting access token after successful login. So we will get the redirect URL and just return the redirect URL. So that redirect URL will come into the controller. So when you call this login function after success, and we are just passing the redirect URL back to the parent, whoever is called. Who called this? Here, broker login API. This guy is called. This guy has called it. From there, it will go to the browser. Correct. Though it is, that's how it is. So once it is done, right, we're anyhow setting the static instance variable here. This is the broker login session of Zerodha or other broker if you configure some other, right? So once its handling is done, I mean the login is successful, this broker login object is ready, and this can be used anywhere across the application. So that's what I did. So in the controller, what I did, I provide a function here, get broker login. So what it will do, it will just return the controller.broker login. So what is that broker login? It's some base login. That base login can be anything, can be Zerodha login, Faiz login, whatever. Correct? So that's how the outside code will just get the broker handle, and it doesn't need to know whether it's a Zerodha or Faiz, whatever. So there can be common functionalities, and it can call the similar order management APIs or ticker services. So from here, get broker login is called, correct? So let me tell where exactly this get broker login is used. For example, if you go to the base order manager, right? So what I'm doing is get controller, get broker login. From the controller, get broker login. I am calling this, right? This will return the broker login, correct? And so from that, I am getting the broker handle, which will be used for placing the order. What are the operation it want to do? And the similar this session, what are the other places it is used? I mean, this controller get broker login, right? So if you go to the ticker, so what I did, base ticker, if you go to the constructor of this base ticker, controller get broker login, I called here as well, right? So this broker login will be used in ticker to create start ticker or stop ticker with that particular broker. You don't know which broker here, right? So all things will be done internally. So this is called polymorphism. This is inheritance polymorphism, right? Runtime polymorphism. Okay. If I want to tell in a programming terms. Okay, let's come to main. So that's how it is when first broker login will be called when you click on login. So after successful login, you will be redirected to the another page where is already logged in, and there you'll see start algo button. Okay, when start algo button is clicked on the HTML page, this particular REST API is called. So correspondingly, the start algo API will be called. Okay. So this start algo, what you are doing again, this is already explained. We need to start this in algo in a separate thread. Okay, not in the main thread. So using a threading functionality in Python. So it's algo start algo. This is again another class, and this is a starting method of that class. Okay, starting in a separate thread. Here I am just printing and redirecting the user. So after this algo is started. So from main, when user clicks start algo button, this API is called, and correspondingly this code is being executed. And in a separate thread, we are actually calling algo.startAlgo, correct? So what is that algo start here? This is the starting method again. The start algo, if is algo dot is algo already running, it's just an instance, class specific variable or static variable. If it's already running, I'm not doing anything. Else what we are doing? So the login is already done, right? So after login only this start algo will be called. Here I am fetching the instruments. You need to fetch all the instruments, right, before you want to place any order or ticker, whatever you want to do, right? Instrument is done, is algo running true, setting the flag and printing some message. And here in this case, since we are actually not implementing any strategy here, after the algo what should be run. So I am just doing some test functionalities here. Here test ticker or test order. Say this is a test file I written outside of this all the modules. Here if you can find this test.js. Okay, test.pl. Here what is the test ticker or let's say test orders. If we go to test orders, what I'm doing here, I'm currently testing with Zerodha order manager. You just create an instance of Zerodha order manager here, right? So that will create the base order manager, which will assign the broker handle, correct? So everything is done internally. When you just get the handle of order manager, you just call order manager place order. So what are the properties you need to pass here? trading symbol, limit price, quantity, directions. So there's some test code, we putting some SBN symbol and getting some lost trade price from codes, something. So you have, I'm doing nothing. I mean, it's already explained in the previous video. Placing some order, and after some time we are placing SL order or modifying order, then placing target order and cancelling order. So this is the functional related testing. You can test it all these things in live also, not a problem. And how we test the test ticker? So in test ticker, I'm just starting the Zerodha ticker service here, and get the instance of Zerodha ticker. Just call start ticker, and after some time stop ticker. Okay. So after starting the ticker, what do you need to do? You have to register a listener, right? So you need to get the ticks, right? So that ticker service has to send the ticks to you, correct? So register listener. So what is a ticker listener? Here a function I have written here called ticker listener. Okay, this is the function I am passing. So once the ticker is started and you register some symbol, so let's say in this case registering SBN and Reliance, correct? So we'll keep getting the ticks every second or multiple times in each second. So and this ticker listener callback function is called because we register this listener to ticker service. So on each new tick, what do you want to do? Currently I'm just printing the tick information. So you can see that I'll show you how it does. And after some time just stopping the ticker. So that's how we are using this ticker. And there's one more file I wrote just for the utility codes. If you want to get some code right instantly, so without using a ticker, here also get the broker login session from the controller and get the broker handle, in this case this kite handle if it is Zerodha. And okay, if it is Zerodha, we'll just call broker handle.code and passing the trading symbol, and if you receive the code, we'll access the last traded price like this. If you don't receive the code, we'll just return the 0. If it is another broker, the handling may be different, right? So we are not able to implement. So this is without ticker. If you want to just read some, what is the current market price of Infosys or Tata Steel. You just pass the trading symbol here, you will get the current market price. So whereas the ticker service, you keep getting the ticks. Once you start the tick and you you pass some register callback function to the ticker, so you'll keep getting the ticks, right? So every second or every millisecond. So that's how it is. I hope you understand the complete project, how I segregated the code and using object-oriented principles, by extracting the common logic into base superclass components, so that a new broker functionality can be easily added in future. So similarly, I will implement the strategies also. Strategies, trade manager. Okay, so those functionalities are implemented. So whenever I get time, probably in coming weeks, you can expect something in maybe in next 2 weeks. Okay, so this is a main goal. Let's run it. Okay, let's run it in the command line. So this is the folder here. So this is src here, just run python or py, whatever, main.py. Okay, see, this started on port 808. These are the details I'm printing, running on localhost 8080. So go to the browser. Let me again type it for you. Sorry, 808. So this is our app right now. So what do you get when you launch this on the browser? You have not yet logged in, right? When you click login to broker, you will be redirected to the broker login page, correct? There you enter your credentials and you will get redirected back to this page. First, let me log out from the session so that you will see the complete flow. Oh, it's already logged out. That's fine. So let me click on login broker. Okay, click on login broker button. That means you are in the home page now. Okay, if you go to index channel, you are clicking login button, broker button. Here we are actually calling this APS broker login Zerodha. So whenever you call this, that is nothing but you will call this broker login API function. That is nothing but this one, handle will go to controller, and from there all things will happen. Okay, log into broker. See, it has been redirected to that page, and from there broker redirect URL, and we came here. Let me log into the broker, login, some pin, continue. So you will be redirect back to your page, right? So how do you redirect back to the page, right? So you have to give this redirect URL your broker app. If you don't know, let me just open my Python. I'll go here. Okay. So here we are given redirect URL, right? So this is how after successful login, the send you back on this URL. So when it sent back on that URL, that is nothing but, so this one, right? So broker login API, and from there it all happen, and we again redirect back to the this page. Sorry. I'll go started. Sorry, not logged in. Okay, this HTML page you are in now. Okay, start algo. That's how you see the start algo button here. So what happens? You click start algo button. Again, we are calling this is a post API here. So this is the URL, and we are posting some data here. Correct. Let's click on start algo. Okay. So far, what is the background? So some redirect happened, and you got some access token, request token, and the login is successful. You can see the prints here. Let me click on start algo. Clicked. Okay. See, algo is running. So this is the final page. So what I in test, what I have written, right? Test orders, right? That function is being called. Here what we, after we click the start algo, we fetch the instruments. I'm just printing all the count. There are 3660 instruments we received from the broker. I just called the get quote API. What is the current market price of SBN? So currently the market is not running. I am doing it now at around 8 o'clock in the night. We are placing the order, but since you get the error, right, from the broker. Markets are closed right now, use GTD. This is the error you got from the broker. We didn't get any order because market is not running. After some time, what I did here, I'm placing SL order, still again same error. Market is closed. After some time, target order, okay. Again 3 times order failed, so we don't get any orders. This is a testing, right? So you can see all the details. It's working for. You can test it during live market also. There you will actually get the orders, and even if you go to the broker terminal, you'll see the order placed there. Correct. Okay, let me test ticker also, so that it will be so that I can complete everything, and I can close this video. So we go to the test. Let me. I'm sorry. Where is our algo core? Algo.py. I'm just commenting this test orders. Let me test ticker. Okay. Let me cancel the application. Okay. I'm running the app again. Let me go to the home page, log into broker. So if you click this login kite web also, right? If you click this button, every time you don't need to enter your credential. Next time onwards, it will be done automatically. Okay. I'm not doing it now, but you can do it. So you again redirect back to our Python app page where you see start algo button. So this time what will happen? When I click start algo button, this start algo will be called, and instead of test orders, I am testing the ticker here. Right? So let me click start algo. See what happened? Ticker connection successful. The ticker started. See 0 dot. After some time we register some symbol SBN Reliance token. Subscribing tokens you print. Ticker listener on new tick. Since market is not running, we just tick only one tick during off market hours. If you are running it during live, you keep on getting these ticks, right? So there will be lots of prints. Keep on going on new tick. So SBN, the last trade quantity or price, etc. So many details. So these are the details I'm printing here. If you see on the test py, right? So we start the ticker, register the listeners, register some symbols after listeners. So what will get ticker listeners here, right? So on new tick, I'm just printing. So each time you'll get keep on ticking. So this is the place where these prints are actually come. Okay. Yeah, after some time we'll stop the ticker. Okay. Yeah, that's how I change this project into a proper, um, what do you say that? A proper project. Okay. Which can be easily implemented further for other brokers, other functionality. So far, yeah, this much only. Let me go to the next slide. So let's see, next session I will try to write trade manager, strategy manager, and also by writing a sample strategy. Okay. Yeah, that's how it is. Thank you all for watching. Again, sorry that I couldn't get time for the last 6 months to work on this project. So last 2 weeks ago, again started working on it, and I made all these things ready in last 2 weeks, and today I'm preparing a video and presenting it to you. I hope it will be useful to you. Thank you. And oh, forgot to say that be safe in this pandemic time. I hope all of you and your family members have good health. See you. Bye.